Thank you very much. I'm Bob Calabrito, the Vice President of Marketing at DCF, and I am joined by the President of DCF, Rick Shreves. Hey, Rick.
Hey, Bob. How are you doing today, sir?
Doing okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks for thanks for organizing this. It's important that we get the information out there, even if we don't have a bunch of people in the room.
Yeah, certainly is. I suppose this is somewhat to be expected as we're in sunset, and I suppose the interest for joining into protocol community calls has probably waned quite a bit, and that's perfectly understandable. This call serves as somewhat of a touch point, a midpoint is to where we are in the into protocol sunset. We are, if my math is correct, about 33 days remaining until the sunset goes into full effect. Just as a background, the Agora community did vote to sunset into protocol on May 1st, and part of the proposal that it was going to be a 60-day wind down. That's about right, Rick?
Yes, that's correct. If I could find the mute button, I would confirm that.
And, as promised from the DCF side, we were going to, and we are, giving as much information as we can, as frequently as we can, as a touch point to say, where we are in the sunsetting process, how are things going, what can the community expect? And that's certainly where we are today. So we have a few topics.
Yeah,
so go on, Rick.
Can we just start out with a bit of a recap of how we got here?
Yeah, sure. Go on.
I was thinking you might do that.
Either one of us, I suppose, is fine. Well, how we got here was a proposal was put up, a discussion from the DCF to perhaps wind down into protocol for a number of reasons. And instead of rehashing those so much here, I encourage anybody to go into the Discord, Agoric Discord, to review the conversations that took place in order to ultimately the community to come to the decision to wind down into protocol.
Quick, I'm going to jump in there for a second, Bob. It's on Discourse, not Discord.
Sorry, Discourse. That's correct. So after a discussion period, the community did vote, and that vote came to an end on May 1st. And as mentioned previously, that in the proposal that it was a 60-day wind down. Maybe anything to add on that, Rick?
No, and as of May 1st, we started trumpeting this as loud and as clearly as we could from as many channels and megaphones as we could find, trying to make sure that people are aware of what's coming, what the process looks like, what the critical timelines are so that they can recover their assets, etc. And we're now almost halfway through that process, and we still have vaults open. Those people need to take note and take action because we're about to start ramping things up to force closures. And that's really a lot of the point of this discussion, is to highlight that for people and to create a sense of urgency that vault holders need to take action and what they can expect between now and the final shuttering of the protocol. So yeah, I think that's kind of a how did we get here, Bob?
Yeah, and you mentioned it. So one of the first actions was that new vault openings and IST minting through existing vaults were suspended as of the day that the sunsetting proposal took effect. Liquidation fees were set to 0, right? And that was to encourage users to close out their vaults. Has everything so far gone according to plan?
Sorry, man, I keep stepping on you here. This is the problem of not being in the same room or not having video so I can actually read your body language. We on May 1st, when we started the wind down process, the first thing we did was we shut off the ability to open new vaults and to mint IST through existing vaults. So, we wanted to make sure that the problem did not increase. And that's been fine. And we also reduced liquidation fees to 0 because the point of this, shutdown is not for the protocol to be making money. So we wanted to remove that friction point as well, allow people to recover as much of their assets as possible. That all went fine as of May 1st and is still in place today and will remain in place until the protocol is finally shuttered. Your question, Bob, was, where are we right now in terms of a success metric for getting people to close their vaults? The good news is it's been trending the right direction. The bad news is there's still more assets out there than I would like to see. I want people to move more quickly, recover their assets, and be made whole. We've got 2 fairly large vaults still open. Everything else is much smaller amounts. The vast majority of what's open is really, really small amounts, including clearly some of the test vaults that we created when new asset types were added. I liquidated a couple of those yesterday, but there's still some more of those floating around. So, am I happy with where we are? Well, I think we're getting closer. I wish we were further along is the answer. And I really hate to see us move into a period of forcing liquidations and hate to, because I know some people are going to get caught out by that, and we don't want that to happen, but we've got to do it to make our timelines and to keep our promises to the community.
Yeah, there's a few significant vaults and some very insignificant vaults. I would imagine that for the ones there are some in there for $1 or $2 worth of assets.
Yeah, that's a lot of the testing stuff. Yeah,
that's probably going to be left like crumbs in a wallet, really. And I don't anticipate if they're not part of the testing set, people aren't going to come in and bother closing those out. But
correct.
We heard from the EC. So what are the things that are going to be done from the EC's perspective, protocol perspective, to try to really encourage people to get there and close those outstanding vaults?
Yeah. A sense of urgency is coming up here, folks. Here we go. Starting next week on Monday, so that's what, June the 2nd, on Monday, the EC is going to begin raising the collateralization ratios on a weekly basis until everyone is forced into liquidation. The very first step and each subsequent step will be 50% of the existing collateralization ratio for specific asset type. And so then on Monday, it goes up 50%. On Monday, the next week, the 9th, it'll go up 50% again. If there's still vaults left on the 16th, it will go up 50% again. If there are still vaults left on the 23rd, you know what happens, 50% again. And then on the 30th, if perchance there are still any vaults left, at that point in time, the liquidation ratio will be, the collateralization ratio, apologies, will be raised to the point that forces the liquidation of the final vault. So just to make this more tangible, let's say that the collateralization ratio for a particular asset was 100. Of course, it's always higher than that, but that's an easy number to work with for our math here. If the collateralization right now is sitting at 100, on Monday, that collateralization ratio will become 150%. Next Tuesday, the Monday thereafter, which would be the 9th of June, the collateralization ratio of 150% will be bumped up 50% and will become 225%, and so on. So that's how this is going to go. The goal is to have everything shut down by the 30th. It is conceivable that it will shut down faster, right? Because of these shifts in the collateralization ratio. And of course, people may show up and close their vaults and other things may happen. So the 30th is the last date possible. It could happen faster.
Right. Yeah, and this isn't trying to penalize anybody. This is just a matter of, the best mechanism that we can put in place, or this EC can put in place in order to get these the vaults closed in the proper fashion. And I can say that the DCF will do everything that it can to continue to communicate this cadence and make sure that hopefully anybody who has their eyes on it, or the community members can share it as well, to make sure that anybody that does have a vault gets them all closed up before the deadline. And
I mean, God knows there's going to be people in the community that criticize the approach. That's always the case.
Sure.
But we've used best efforts, and I feel good about what we've done. Not only have the social channels been broadcasting this, we've done events that emphasize this. There's banners up on all of the sites. If somebody's opened a vault and they haven't attended to their asset for more than 30 days, they're really not taking care of business. I don't know what I can do about those people. Yeah. That's on them.
Yeah, it's a good point. And what happens, Rick, then if deadline comes, June 30th comes and goes, and there are vaults still open? What happens after that? Oh, and what?
On June,
do users have any recourse?
On June?
Sorry about that.
So sorry. On June 30th, if there are still vaults open, the EC will raise the collateralization ratio to whatever it takes to shut those vaults down. So on the 30th, they're all going to be gone. So when a vault is liquidated, it goes to auction. So, hey, those of you who are interested in participating in liquidation auctions, there might be some opportunities coming up. When it goes through liquidation, the proceeds from that liquidation will belong to the person that opened the vault, and those will remain available. All you would have to do is go to the vaults page on app.enter.trade. You will see a list of your vaults. They will be designated as closed, and you will have an option there to withdraw your assets. So it doesn't evaporate. It remains there waiting for the user to take action to claim the results, the proceeds of the liquidation auction.
Yeah, great point. Really good point. So at the moment, we've seen a few users and heard from a few vault owners who are having a little, and IST, people with IST positions in general, having a little bit of a difficult time at times getting out of their IST position or settle an IST position. Can you speak to that a little bit? What are some of the options available?
Yeah. There's been a fair amount of slippage in the market on IST, which really isn't a surprise at this point in time. But really, where the pain point appears to be is in relation to USDC pair in the PSM. The USDC pair keeps getting drained down as we put more IST into that pair. So, USD, very popular asset to use for these things, no surprise there. But and this is the important point, but it's not the only asset. There are plenty of other pairs available in the PSM that will allow you to get IST so you can repay your debt. So you just need to go into the PSM, explore the different assets that are available. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different asset pairs available in the PSM, and you can find a way to get IST. So I wish it were the case that we had that we were able to maintain adequate USDC liquidity in the PSM, but it is a struggle right now, and we're doing the best we can with that. But it's not the only channel, folks. There's other asset types out there that you can explore to solve this problem, and I encourage you to do so.
Yeah, so basically get into the other ecosystems and find their way, right?
Yeah, it may be less convenient because you've got USDC in your wallet and you want to use USDC, but it's not, you're not blocked at all from being able to get IST and do what you need to do.
Perfect. Understand. So we do have a community question, and that question was concerning Interprotocol's transaction history and archive. Can you give more details on the timeline of keeping Interprotocol's website, apps, and analytics active? So I think essentially what they're asking for here is, post sunsets, will there be archival information for past community members or vault holders or IST holders to go back and seek information?
Yeah, that's a good question, and it's not a obvious. There's no obvious answer to that. So let's get to it here. Interprotocol runs on top of the Agoric L1. Agoric uses vStorage for their data for the L1, and so all raw historical data will remain available through archive nodes. There is a possibility that at some point in time the current vStorage data will change, but that's an Agoric decision. That isn't something DCF controls. That's something the community can also have an impact on through governance of the Agoric L1. It's not a DCF thing. Transaction data, however, is not included in vStorage. It only contains the current state of the interrelated contracts. The dApps and the dashboard don't use chain data directly. They use an indexer that Agoric operates. I would expect that at some point in time, Agoric will want to prune that. But again, the community can have an impact on that. And if there remains a need for it to be available, I'm sure Agoric will keep it available. The website we will keep up as long as we see open vaults available within reason. I'm not saying it'll be there 10 years from now, but certainly any kind of reasonable timeline that keeps the app available so that you can find your vault and retrieve your assets, we will want to keep that available for users. So I know that's a bit of a maybe kind of answer to the question, but some of this is out of DCF's hands. We don't, for example, control the Agoric L1. That's controlled by the community and to a lesser extent by Agoric. So that's something that community members should weigh in on, make their concerns known, open a discussion and discourse on, and DCF will be there to support you, but it isn't something we control.
Understood. And I can speak at least from the marketing comms point of view. We will make sure that somewhere lives documentation and an updated FAQ of sorts for all the information leading into the sunset and the information coming out of the sunset as well that users can reference. And we'll figure out a place where that can live on.
Cool.
Yeah, and that actually goes in general, Rick, and this could be a question for me actually, or a question for you is, where can users now or community members go and find the most updated information on the sunset or some of the things that we are discussing today?
Yeah, that was a question I was going to ask you actually. So do you want to give a rundown of where are the official information sites and what's the best place to monitor for these announcements as we go into this critical final 30-day period?
Yeah. So first, we're always available on Discord in the interprotocol, on the Agoric Discord on the interprotocol channel, as well as generally in the Agoric channel. We're here to answer any questions that we feel that we can answer that are in our purview. Users can also, there is a FAQ page that is up on inter.trade, which is the main website for Interprotocol. You follow Interprotocol's Twitter is still active. Hannah and social media are doing a great job in communicating everything. So those main areas, if you want to follow the conversation that led us to this point, head into Agoric Discourse. All the information for the discussions and the proposals are there. So there is a slew of channels and plenty of places to find information on how we got to this point, and we will continue to communicate all the essential information moving forward on all of those channels. And that also, by the way, includes the DCF channel, Twitter. So a good place for anybody to find out what's going on. I think that's generally it for the call today, Rick. Do you have any last bits of information or final thoughts to add?
Get out there and close those vaults, people. Protect your assets.
Yeah.
And, thanks for the support that we've gotten from the community during this process. This has not been easy. It's been stressful at times, and, we don't really want to see Interprotocol go away for a variety of reasons, but it's also just not practical for us to continue with it. So thanks for your understanding as well. And let's make sure this last 30 days goes as smooth as it possibly can. So yeah. I guess a call to action here is help us spread the word, people. They need to get their assets out. Things are coming up to a head here during June, and I don't want to see people take a big hit.
Yeah, well said. I concur. All right. Well, Rick, thank you very much. Been a good chat. Looking forward to the next 33 days, I believe it is, right? And hopefully everything goes as smoothly as possible. And like you said, everybody get out there, spread the word. If you have vaults open, get it there and close them down.
Friends don't let friends get liquidated.
Yeah. Okay. And thanks for everybody for attending, and thanks for everybody for listening. Stay safe out there.
Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye.